All right, so let's do our next round of uh, energy efficiency training. And today's talk is going to be about quiet cool fans, one of our most popular upgrades. They're one of the best bang for your buck upgrades you can get in the sense that they can make your home a lot more energy efficient, but they don't cost as much as some of the bigger upgrades like a roof or a new HVAC system. So let's talk about a quiet cool fan. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. So let's see. First, let's just show you what it looks like. So the quiet cool fan kind of has two components to it. So there's the part that goes in the attic, which is where the actual fan is, right behind this red thing here. And then there's the vent. So in the ceiling of the house, where it will be in a central location or a hallway, you'll actually have a new grill or a new vent, which is what you can see right there. And what the quiet cool fan does, it's called a whole house fan because it actually cools the entire house. So a lot of times people get these confused with attic fans because the fan's in the attic, but the difference between a whole house fan and an attic fan is an attic fan just cools the attic, doesn't actually cool the house at all, whereas a whole house fan, like a quiet cool that you see here, that's actually going to cool the entire house. So whether it's 1,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet, we're actually able to cool someone's entire house. So what people want to know is, okay, well, how does a fan like that cool my entire house? So here's how it works. You turn the fan on, and you need to actually have some open windows or doors. The way that the fan works is it's taking all of the fresh air, so whatever the temperature is outside, it's bringing all of that nice, fresh, clean air inside, and it's getting sucked up. So you can actually see what happens here on these arrows. It gets sucked up into the house. It goes up to wherever that vent is, and then it gets blown out of the vents that are already in the customer's attic. So all day, the reason why people like these fans is because all day your house is just sitting there beating in the sun. And so most people know what it's like to have, their car sitting in like a Walmart parking lot, and it's the middle of the day. It might not even be that hot outside, but when you go back to your car after shopping for an hour or two, it'll be really, really hot. And then you either need to blast the AC or you need to roll down the windows and start driving to get it cooled down. And that's kind of what happens to your house all day as well. That it just has the sun beating on it all day. And a lot of times, even if it's not that hot outside, just with being in the sun all day, by the time you get to 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night, it can get pretty hot inside. And especially in second-story homes where there's 2 stories and the heat's rising, a lot of that heat gets stuck on the second floor. Even when the AC's on, it's just really not that comfortable. And so what the whole house fan will do is, in a matter of minutes, it will make whatever the temperature is outside the temperature inside. And so that's really, really powerful for a lot of our customers who live in the valley, because in the valley, we know at night, it really gets quite cool. It's a really comfortable temperature outside, but your house just doesn't get to that point, right? Because it has this hot, static, still air that's been sitting in there all day. And so the whole house fan actually takes all of the air that's in the house, it sucks it all up through this vent that you can see right here. So all the air in the house is going to come up, and then it's going to get blown out of the attic through the vents that you can see that are already there. And so it's a really, really nifty product in that it has its own ducting here, its own vent. It's completely separate from the AC system, but there's a lot of different times in the year where the whole house fan can do just as good, if not a better job than your AC system, but it costs a lot less. And so that's the biggest reason why people want to use whole house fans instead of AC. Obviously, where we work, almost everyone has an AC unit. So if you're trying to cool your house, you can use your air conditioner. Or if it's a comfortable temperature outside, like it is in the valley in the summer, in the mornings and the evenings, and then throughout the rest of the year, pretty much all day long, it'll be really good temperature outside, but the house might really heat up. And so the reason why people are using this whole house fan instead of the AC is because every time you use the AC, you're using 90% more electricity than the whole house fan. So this fan uses 1/10 of the electricity that an AC will use. And so what that means is that every time you're able to use the fan instead of your AC, you're saving 90%. And so what that means from an energy efficiency standpoint is that, you can keep the house the same temperature this year that you had it last year. But if you have a whole house fan, there's going to be a lot of different instances where you can use that fan instead, and you're going to save 90%, which means you can use your AC even more at different times of the day when it's hotter and the fan's not necessarily going to work. Or you can just save that money, and put that back into your bank account. And so this fan really pays for itself just because of how much energy it saves, because it uses so much electricity than the AC, whereas it can still do just as good a job at certain times of the day. So I already mentioned a little bit about what times of day this fan generally works really well, and that's evenings in the summertime when it's a nice cool temperature, and especially mornings in the summertime when it's a nice cool temperature. And then through the rest of the year, you can pretty much use it year round. Anytime the house gets a little bit hot, but it's a nice temperature outside, that's when you can use it. When you shouldn't use it is when whatever the temperature is outside is not what you want the house to be inside. The reason for that is because this is not like your AC where you're setting it to a certain temperature. It's just going to make the house whatever the temperature is outside. So if it's 100 degrees outside and you want it to be nice and cool in your house, it's not a good idea to open some windows or open a screen door and use this fan, because it's just going to bring all that hot air from outside in. So in those instances, you would use your AC. So it's not that the whole house fan makes it so that you'll never need to use your AC again, but what it's going to do is take all the times, especially evening, which is when most people really want to be comfortable because they're trying to go to sleep, and a lot of times they're in their bedrooms, which are on the second floor of a lot of houses, and it gets really, really hot and uncomfortable, and they have to choose between either being comfortable or spending a ton of money on AC, and this allows them to just, for pennies on the dollar, be able to keep their house nice and cool, have cleaner, fresher air, and be able to live much more comfortably at a much more affordable price. So you're not going to use this whole house fan when it's really hot outside, or if it's really cold outside and you don't want it to be that temperature. You're going to just use this fan when it's a comfortable temperature outside, and that's what you want. Some other reasons why people really like this fan. So obviously, with COVID going on, airborne diseases has been a big thing. So one of the 3 recommendations that the CDC has in terms of what you can do to keep your home safe is just let fresh air in. So opening windows. The whole house fan is kind of like opening windows on steroids. It's a constant stream of fresh air. So all of the entire air that's in your house will actually be recirculated. So it'll actually leave and be exchanged with new air like 3 to 4 times over the course of 1 hour of this fan being run. So that's one of the really big selling points of it, in addition to how much money it can save you. The other reason why we use Quiet Cool is because it's very quiet. So in the past, people have heard of whole house fans being really loud because they're such powerful fans. A lot of them are really loud, but this brand of whole house fan made by Quiet Cool has patented technology that makes it really, really quiet, which is obviously a nice little selling point as well. Talk about someone who maybe wouldn't want this fan. So if someone, lives in an area where, they have a really bad allergies, and every time they go outside and get fresh air, their allergies, prop up, then this isn't going to be a good fan for them, because they're going to be getting a lot of fresh air in their house. So if they like the static air because it doesn't have, the pollen or whatever they're allergic to in it, then the whole house fan's probably not a good fit. If someone, doesn't like ever having the windows open, likes keeping the windows closed at all times, then the whole house fan's not going to be a great fit, because you're only going to save as much as you use it. Every time you use it instead of the AC, you're saving 90%, but you got to use it to save. So that's essentially the way that the whole house fan works. It's fairly affordable. It costs anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 depending on the size of the house. And on a solar payment, generally it's only adding about $9 a month to their bill. And oftentimes that's offset because they don't need to get as many panels. So sometimes it's not even costing them any extra to get the fan. Other than that, I think it's one of the most popular upgrades that we have. There does need to be enough space in the attic for it to be able to fit, but if there is, I'd say we do this with about 70–80% of our customers, just because it's such a good bang for your buck, and it works really well with an AC to make your house as efficient as possible. All right, that's it on whole house fans. We'll do a more advanced training on that one down the road.